has issued a fresh directive to all private secondary schools. In a statement signed by the Director of Quality Assurance of the Ministry, Sebastian John, on behalf of the Commissioner, the department said all proprietors must obtain clearance from the Quality Assurance Office before proceeding to the Education Resource Center, ERC. According to the directive, schools that have already complied are those that visited the Quality Assurance Office with photocopies of payment receipts for annual renewal for the last 3 years and collected the Quality Assurance Clearance Form. The statement adds that for schools that proceeded to ERC without clearance, proprietors are directed to make payment of all outstanding annual renewals at the Plateau State Internal Revenue Service and submit photocopies of the receipt to the Quality Assurance Department between 3rd and 7th August 2026 for verification and issuance of clearance. The statement warns that failure to comply within the stipulated date will attract a penalty, fine of 50,000 in addition to payment of all outstanding renewals. It added that no school will be allowed to present candidates for WAEC, NECO, or BECE in 2027 without proper clearance. Zonal directors and area directors have been directed to immediately circulate the information to all proprietors of private schools within their jurisdictions and ensure strict compliance. Proprietors are advised to check the list of approved private secondary schools already released by the Quality Assurance Department to confirm their status. Participants at a 3 weeks training on online reporting at the NTA Television College have been encouraged to step down the knowledge gained during the training at their respective organizations. Rector of the NTA Television College, Pauline Suleiman, gave the encouragement at the end of the program. Our correspondent has details.
The 3-week training brought together participants from various organizations to enhance their practical skills in the rapidly evolving field of online reporting. During the course, participants were trained on mobile journalism, social media engagement, and the emerging trend in online news production, among others. Facilitators also emphasized the importance of accuracy, credibility, and responsible reporting in the digital age. Congratulating participants on the successful course completion, Rector, NTA Television College, Pauline Suleiman, represented by NTA Zonal Director, Jos Network Center, Nanret Nandang, while commending participants for their active engagement throughout the program, encouraged them to apply the knowledge they have gained in their various fields.
We're in the era of digital technology, things are changing. It's only an analog journalist that will stay back, or if you are laid back, you will not. If you are not moving with the times, then you think online journalism is not important. It starts there now. Now things are changing. Online journalism is hot cake everywhere. It's what every journalist should. It's a skill that every journalist and anybody that is in the business of media should strive to acquire.
Appreciating the college for providing the platform to strengthen their skills, some of the participants, Henrietta Wosu and Duman Wetkum, described the training as timely and impactful.
Now I've gotten the basis of video editing with the use of YouTube and the continuous training, online training that we have agreed to continue to put ourselves to. That will definitely inject it into my day-to-day work.
Online reporting has been very, very rewarding. We've had resource persons from various fields who have come to really educate us on a lot of things about the evolving nature of journalism. And I believe that what I've learned here, I will step it down to other colleagues in the office to be able to gain from the work of experience that we've gathered here in NTA College.
In Jos, Rodkan, Nanfa.
Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang is extending warm congratulations to Reverend Sylvester Dachomo on his election as the Deputy General Secretary to the Church of Christ in Nations, COCIN. Governor Mutfwang described Dachomo's emergence as a well-deserved recognition of his unwavering commitment to the service of God, the Church, and humanity. He noted that the trust and confidence reposed in him by the leadership and delegates of COCIN is a testament to his proven integrity, spiritual depth, administrative competence, and years of dedicated service in advancing the mission and values of the church. Mutfwang added that Dachomo's elevation reflects the enduring tradition of excellence, selfless service, and spiritual leadership, for which COCIN is widely respected. He expressed optimism that his wealth of experience and deep understanding of the church's mission will contribute significantly to the growth, stability, and effectiveness of the denomination. Up ahead on Global News, stakeholders call for stronger action against human trafficking as World marks Anti-Trafficking Day. Please stay with us. Glad to have you rejoin us. Human trafficking is a crime that feeds on the vulnerable, exploits the innocent, and undermines the moral fabric of the nation. Taking a bold strategic measure in combating the menace through a comprehensive framework anchored on prevention, protection, and prosecution is a solution in the fight against the barbaric act. These forms the major submissions by some key stakeholders in an interview by our correspondents in commemoration of this year's World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. The report.
The World Day Against Trafficking in Person has the theme, Trapped Behind the Scam. This year's day focuses on global attention on the alarming rise of human trafficking victims, most especially people trafficked into online fraud operations and forced to commit cyber crimes. In Plateau State, the barbaric act, according to experts, is on a high rate. An indigent of Plateau State and a survivor returnee from outside of the country, made possible by the intervention of Governor Caleb Mutfwang, said she was deceived, harassed, and exploited.
The only thing that I have to thank my fellow guests, young age, because they used to take us from 13 years, if you look at it from 13 to 14 years above, they used to take us go abroad. And what they used to use confuse us, they used to tell us that you're going to be okay. What they used to do, they said they will take you to housework, you're going to do housework. But a lot of people that are living in Libya, where I come from, is not housework. 100% is us. It's prostitution they used to take us. And they will force us to do what we're not even meant to do. My advice to tell others that please, when you hear someone tell you that you should come, that you have a work for another place, if it's not part of Nigeria, do not go there.
Facilitator of the survival release and Plateau State coordinator, Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, rapper Jumai Madaki, described the barbaric act as a pandemic.
Governor made sure she is back in Nigeria. But the governor alone cannot continue doing this. The communities must respond. How can they respond? By community bylaws. Let the communities know how to punish. Let the communities know where their kids are. Let the communities know how they should react to these things. It's inhuman.
NAPTIP State Commander, Plateau State Command, Adole Alex Agada, who spoke through the head of research and public enlightenment, Emmanuel Joseph, said the state has a highly increasing rate of human trafficking despite the numerous arrests and prosecutions. Special Advisor on Gender and Acting Chairperson, Plateau State Gender and Equal Opportunities Commission, Olivia Dazim, said they are working in collaboration with stakeholders to change the narrative.
This is quite traumatizing for us as a commission. And I must say to the people of Plateau State, honestly, God will hold us responsible for the challenges that our young children are going through in other cities of the country and in other countries of the world.
Attorney General and Chairman, Plateau State Task Force on Anti-Human Trafficking, Philemon Duffy, reminded offenders that the government has zero tolerance and is committed to confronting traffickers.
We want to inform the general public that very soon there will be an executive order that makes irresponsible parents culpable. If you give birth to children, you should be able to take care of them in a manner that will not constitute nuisance to society.
Together we can build a plateau state where every child is safe and justice prevails for those who are misled and deceived into child trafficking. For PRTV News, I am Katlong Gukwat.
Moving on, Chairman Kwanpan Local Government Council, Christopher Manship, has applauded the Gumai Unity Development Organization, GUDO, for its continued commitment to the peace, unity and development of the Gumai Nation and Plateau State, describing the organization's recent visit to Governor Caleb Mutfwang as a demonstration of responsible civic engagement and constructive partnership in the pursuit of development. In a statement issued by his Director of Press and Publicity, Danan Silvanus, the chairman said GUDO's advocacy for improved infrastructure in Kwanpan local government area represents the genuine yearnings of the people and complements the developmental vision of both the state under the Time Is Now administration and the Kwanpan Local Government Council under this is the agenda way. This is the way agenda. The statement, however, clarified certain issues raised during the interaction with Governor Mutfwang at the Government House, Rayfield, on July 28, 2026, suggesting that the Gumai people are marginalized in the affairs of Kwanpan local government, which do not fully reflect the realities on ground. The chairman in the statement explained that his administration has deliberately pursued an inclusive style of governance by ensuring that competent individuals from the various ethnic groups in the local government are given opportunities to contribute to governance. He pointed out that the office of the vice chairman has remained a symbol of inclusion and balanced leadership in Kwanpan, while several sons and daughters of Gumai extraction currently occupy strategic positions in the administration. These include the deputy chairman, Parlong Kangsha, who equally doubles as the supervisory councillor for revenue, the supervisory councillor for budget, planning and statistics, Adamu Kari, special advisors, Pascal Tonlong, Hubert and Umar Ibrahim Dogara, among several others. He added that appointments have equally been extended to members of the Mogavul, Mupun, Hausa, Fulani and Igbo communities in furtherance of the administration's commitments to fairness and inclusiveness. The chairman, however, noted that the commitment of the present administration goes beyond appointments, as key development projects have been executed across different communities, including Turmang Bridge, the Bakinchiawa, Sabongida Bridge, and the recently 2 completed bridges that linked Kurgui to Anpia, all aimed at improving connectivity and enhancing economic activities. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has condoled with the family of the late Da Patrick Nyam Silas, who passed away at the age of 80, describing him as a devoted father who raised children, making meaningful contributions to society. Our Government House correspondent, who was at the family's residence in Rayfield, reports that the deceased was the father of the chairman of Jos South Local Government Area, Patrick Silas Dung. The report.
Welcome, His Excellency
Governor Caleb Mutfwang, while consoling the bereaved family, described this as an inevitable reality of life and encouraged them to take solace in God despite the pain of their loss. He urged the family to remain grateful to God for the life of their late patriarch and for the grace that has sustained them through this difficult period.
On behalf of the government and the people of Plateau State, to express our condolences to this family. But even in the midst of death, we must say thank you to God for Dara to have lived till 80 is not a mean feat. Thank God that he produced worthy children, one of whom is found worthy to be a leader in Jos South today.
Responding on behalf of the family, the chairman of Jos South Local Government Area, Patrick Silas Dung, thanked Governor Caleb Mutfwang for the visit and the support shown to the family during their time of mourning.
This visit has shown us that we as a people
I've got not just a leader, but a father, one who has the interests of everybody at heart.
He also informed the governor that the funeral mass for the late Da Patrick Nyam Sila will be held on Tuesday at St. Finbar's Catholic Church, Rayfield, after which he will be laid to rest. This is Pamzi Jaman.
Family, friends, and well-wishers gathered to pay their last
Speaking on the topic, where will you spend eternity? The retired Anglican Bishop of Zaria Diocese urged the congregation to live lives that reflect Christ, noting that the true fulfillment comes from God and not material possession.
It's not for us to decide. The Almighty God decides the fate of every human being in this world.
Elder sister of the deceased and a former secretary to the Plateau State government, Susan Jangfa, described her late brother as a dedicated believer whose wise counsel will be missed.
He lived a good life as God allowed him to. It was not easy for him. You know, the devil has a way of really getting at somebody over and over and over. But in the end, to God be the glory.
Son of the deceased, Ishaya Samande, who eulogized his father, said he will miss his fatherly advice.
You know, he had challenges, and you know, sometimes we're all human. We deal with our challenges in different ways, but I would say all in all, I look at his heart. He had a good heart.
There were prayers for the family. Born on the 2nd of May 1952, the late Njuma Samande was born in Jos and a retired staff of the Nigerian Electricity Power Authority, Jos. His body was later laid to rest at the St. Pierian's Cemetery in Jos. I am Njembin Zita.
The remains of one of the longest-serving monarchs in northern Nigeria, the Dagwom Ray Jos South Dangyang, have been laid to rest in celebration of a life dedicated to peace, unity, and traditional leadership. The burial ceremony held in Jos South local government area brought together dignitaries from far and near. Our correspondent is now ready with the report.
The community of Jos South stood still as thousands of mourners gathered to bid a final farewell to Da Ingang Dangyang, the first Dagom Ray of Jos South local government area, who died at the age of 106 after an extraordinary 66 years of reign, making him one of the longest-serving traditional rulers in northern Nigeria. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented by the Commissioner of Environment, Climate Change and Mineral Development, Peter Gwom, said the late monarch leaves behind a legacy of peace building, cultural preservation, and selfless leadership.
Conflicts were resolved through dialogue and where every voice could be heard. His Royal Highness lived through changing generations, witnessing colonial rule, independence, the growth of Plateau State, and the transformation of Giel into one of the most important communities in Jos South, and Plateau State.
The Bongom Jos Da Jacob Gyambuba said that Ngang Dangyang life will be remembered as one of the most peaceful reigns in the history of the traditional institution in Plateau State.
Lost a father, a source of huge humor, and a very sound historian, particularly of the land.
In a sermon, former Provincial Church Council Chairman Reverend Joshua Mandel reminded the congregation that a life lived in the fear of God and service to humanity leaves an enduring legacy. Testimonies.
Time is coming. This is what Bible is telling me, that no, if one is living by faith, you understand that you will be judged.
Came from the family, Girl Development Association, Girl Sons and Daughters Forum, who all described him as loving father, mentor and peacemaker. The late Gomroy Jos South ascended to the throne in December 1959 to 2026. In Jos, Bridget Ruchak.
And on the foreign scene, thousands of migrants crossed overnight from Morocco into Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta as Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Friday arrived to manage one of the largest migrant crises on the country's border. In recent days, a total of around 40,000 migrants have crossed into the territory, a police source said, many swimming around the small border barrier that meets the Mediterranean Sea. The sudden massive influx has sparked an international crisis for Spain's government, drawing criticism from Italy and Finland and prompting France to tighten checks on its border with Spain. Madrid has sent troops and more police, including divers, drones and boats, to boost security in Ceuta. Sanchez and his interior minister arrived on Friday to visit the enclave's Tarajal border. Hundreds of people, men, women and children have been seen entering Ceuta by swimming around a border barrier with Morocco to enter the Spanish enclave, discarding flotation rings and clothes used in the risky passage. On Friday, hundreds of migrants, mostly young men, were hanging around near the border and in the town, while others were turning back to Morocco. So far, 18 people have died attempting to reach the Spanish enclave, the police source said. It was not immediately clear what has prompted the recent surge of migrants from Morocco. In 2021, thousands crossed to take advantage of Rabat losing border controls during a diplomatic dispute with Spain. Already, the Ceuta scenes of the surge in migrants were causing diplomatic fallout. And that is it on Global News this evening. In the news, we told you that Jipal community of Mongu local government area in Plateau State has commended Governor Caleb Mutfwang for his administration's achievements in road rehabilitation, water supply, and the upgrading of healthcare facilities in the area. The commendation came during a thank you visit by a delegation from the community to the governor at his residence in Rayfield. University of Jos has expressed its determination to re-strategize its security architecture to safeguard lives and property of the institution. Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Tanko Ishaya, stated this during a crucial, broad-based stakeholders meeting held at the auditorium, Faculty of Social Sciences of the institution. The remains of one of the longest-serving monarchs in northern Nigeria, the Dagwamwe, Jos South, Da Ngadangya, have been laid to rest in celebration of a life dedicated to peace, unity, and traditional leadership. The burial ceremony held in Jos South local government area brought together dignitaries from far and near. And finally, thousands of migrants crossed overnight from Morocco into Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta as Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Friday arrived to manage one of the largest migrant crises on the country's border. In recent days, a total of around 40,000 migrants have crossed into the territory, a police source said, many swimming around the small border barrier that meets the Mediterranean Sea. That is it on Global News this evening. Many thanks for watching. Good night and God bless.